What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Last Word Sports Podcast. We know it's been a while, but we're excited to get back to you guys, start churning out more content, get back on the regular. So today we're going to be talking about the upcoming NBA season restart, some of our thoughts, and we're going to be giving you guys which team we think has the best odds to win the championship. We're both going to give you one sleeper pick and one team who we think is being overrated a little bit, might exit the playoffs a little bit earlier than everyone's anticipating. So, Fletch, first of all, let's get started with you. Who do you think is most likely to win the NBA championship in Orlando when the season resumes?
So, my pick for the eventual NBA champion for this season when it finally resumes in Orlando is the Lakers. I think it's pretty clear cut between them, the Bucks, and the Clippers as the clear favorites. And for me, it's really tight between those three. But I just I like AD and LeBron as a duo, and then I feel like they have some good role players around them, like Danny Green. Avery Bradley can't make it to Orlando, but there are rumors of them maybe picking up J.R. Smith, and there's some
maybe Nick Young,
yeah.
Swaggy P.
There's some chemistry left between J.R. and LeBron from the Cleveland days, so maybe they can work some magic too. Overall, I just I like the Lakers, but I could easily see the Clips or the Bucks winning too.
Yeah. So, like Fletch said, the big three are obviously Milwaukee, the Lakers, and the Clippers. I personally think the Clippers have the best odds. I've been a huge fan of the Clippers all year long. I love their perimeter defense with Patrick Beverley, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, phenomenal defensive players, as well as Paul George and Kawhi, two guys who can score at will. I think Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell give them a ton of depth, especially when you consider they've added guys like Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, who was shooting like 40% from three for the Knicks before it came over. And what's his name? They got Joakim Noah too. I know he's not. But, they're adding veteran guys. They're a very veteran team. They're going to be trained.
Yeah, I'm sure he's an all-right veteran presence in the locker room. It's just, he might not see the court too much.
I think the Clippers, it's tough to say whether they are going to benefit or get hurt by this pandemic because on one hand, it's kind of like, well, hey, the Clippers have only played 12 games together with their full roster healthy, right?
Yeah.
And they were 11-1 in those games. The one loss was to the Lakers in a very close game. Outside of that, they don't have a ton of chemistry yet because they just have not been able to play together. Paul George has missed like 20 games. Kawhi's missed 20 games. Patrick Beverley's missed about 20 games. A lot of those guys have been in and out of the lineup. So, you would have liked to have seen them play a bit more together, get some chemistry going, but at the same time, like I mentioned, a lot of these guys were injury-prone players. It's nice for them to have a break, rest up, get fully healthy. Paul George, Landry Shamet, Patrick Beverley, they should all be 100% ready to go when the season kicks off again. I think they match up well with the Lakers, especially with Avery Bradley gone now, because, from a perimeter defense standpoint, J.R. Smith doesn't bring the same type of intensity that Avery Bradley does, allowing Kawhi and PG better opportunities to score. Yeah. I think adding Marcus Morris and even Joakim Noah, just gives you more big men sort of that you can throw at Anthony Davis and LeBron, because the one weakness the Clippers have is their starting center is kind of Zubac. And he's not, the strongest big man, but, they still have a bunch of depth. And so ultimately I like the Clippers over both the Bucks and the Lakers.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to our sleeper picks for the eventual champions in Orlando. I'm gonna be going with one that's a bit of a stretch, one could say, but considering how well this team performed last year, we know that they have the capabilities. There were just a couple of roster changes and some injuries that hurt them pretty badly. I'm going with the Portland Trailblazers.
Shout out to Nick D. Ray.
Shout out to Nicholas. But yeah, I just you can never go wrong with Dame at point guard. Dame is he's a top 10 player in the league. I think it's pretty undisputed at this point.
I'm with you there.
And then CJ, he's had a bit of a down year, but I think that's going to give him some time to sort of try to refine his game. And, I think this break could actually end up serving CJ well.
And I mean, his percentages are a little bit down, but he's pretty much been the same, 24-4 guy that he's been for the last couple of years, so.
Yeah, it's not like by down year I meant like he was being awful, and he's just
he's not having a Mike Conley season.
He's not having a Mike Conley year, but anyways, The question for me with the Blazers is obviously at like the small forward position because Zach Collins should be back, Nurkic should be back, so you have like three towers in the post like that you're able to use in Zach Collins, Nurkic, and Whiteside.
Hassan gives you the ability to kind of ease Nurkic back into the lineup.
Exactly,
which is nice.
exactly. And so my question is small forward. Is Melo gonna come to Orlando?
We lost out on Trevor Ariza, which
Yeah,
is tough.
Trevor Ariza's not coming. Rodney Hood might make it back, but
Probably can't rely on him coming off an ACL.
That's not a good gamble you're gonna want to take. So the big question is the small forward position, but if the Blazers can put it together, get some chemistry and some fire under them, they could make a run and make some noise. Maybe not a championship. They could mess up the playing field a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the tough thing is they're probably going to have to play the Lakers in the first round if they end up making it to the playoffs. There's a couple regular season games to finish out first. But, I generally agree with you. Portland has one of the most talented rosters for an 8 seed probably ever, considering this is a team that went to the Western Conference Finals last year. They've just been battling injuries.
Yeah.
So, my sleeper pick is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Obviously, not as much as a sleeper Portland. Boston, I think, is the 3 or the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Very good team. They don't necessarily have, like, a true superstar yet. I think Jason Tatum is kind of emerging into that role, but I don't want to give him that label quite yet. He's averaging, 23 a game. But they have a pretty deep roster in the sense of they have 4 guys who could realistically give you 20 any night between Kemba, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Gordon Hayward. Yeah. So I don't necessarily love their, big men because they don't really have the type of size to compete. I don't think they have anybody who could guard Giannis or Anthony Davis.
No.
But I think in terms of coming out of the Eastern Conference, I like the way that they match up with teams like Toronto and Miami, in terms of their multifaceted scoring. And Jason Tatum has proven he can go head-to-head with guys like, LeBron, at least in one-game scenarios. He can, get hot and drop 30 or 40. So
you never know. If Kemba catches fire during a series, things could happen. But it still is just due to their size hard to see them take it over the teams who have.
Plus, they're still a little bit young.
Yeah, they're a younger team. They're their best leadership comes from Kemba, and Kemba, this is probably the most enthusiastic he's been on a team since being in the NBA because he was stuck on Charlotte
Hornets, baby.
Charlotte his whole
Shout out
career.
Michael Jordan.
But that's the thing is that he hasn't probably had the same enthusiasm about being on a team as he has this year. So I don't know how good of a leader he is. He's obviously better than Kyrie as a leader. we can see that easily, but let's just see how it goes for the Celtics.
I'm with you. Okay, so finally we have a team that we think is overrated. Fletch, you start off, my friend.
All right, so an overrated team for me is I think it's the Sixers. I just don't think they have the firepower on the perimeter to make a run and compete with all the rest of the big three and other sleeper teams trying their best to make a run. It's just I could see them going out in the first round or having an early exit just because they can't keep up when it comes to shooting the basketball. And they, of course, have Joel, who's one of the league's best big men.
I'm worried about Joel Embiid's daily regime in this break. I could very easily see Joel Embiid just eating 10 donuts a day, not working out, hanging out on Twitter, playing video games.
Yeah, exactly. So it's we don't know. Ben Simmons is obviously a pretty good playmaker, but it's not like he provides perimeter scoring threats.
Yeah, and they haven't really figured out, the coaching staff, how to maximize their talents together yet.
Yeah.
Simmons and Embiid, so that's still kind of a chemistry issue.
All right.
So my team is the Miami Heat. Don't hate me. I know a lot of people think that the Heat are slept on, have really good title odds, but I just don't think this is the year for Miami. I think they're very young, which will hurt them in terms of they don't have the veteran playoff presence to kind of get started after this pandemic, which is a really weird situation. I think also they just don't necessarily have the talent to compete with some of the top tier teams in the Western Conference, like the Clippers, the Lakers, maybe even the Rockets. I think one other thing that's tough for the Heat, I like their coaching. I like Jimmy Butler's intensity. Jimmy Butler hasn't really been a very effective shooter this season, though. think he's only shooting like 25% from three,
Yeah.
which is actually, pretty bad. He's usually a pretty good 3-point shooter and very good defender, but he's been a lot more versatile this year, giving you like 6 assists, 6 boards, but he's still only averaging like 20 points per game. To me, I don't really see a scorer on the Heat who can just kind of take over in the playoffs, and that's kind of a problem. I think Duncan Robinson's a really good shooter. They have a bunch of guys who are kind of like, effective, like in terms of statistically, like Duncan Robinson, really good shooter. Kendrick Nunn's a good scorer, but they're not very versatile players, which is funny because Jimmy Butler's the opposite. He's very versatile. But like Duncan Robinson can't really defend as much, can't attack the rim. Kendrick Nunn's a really good scorer, but he's giving you like 2 boards and 2 assists. The other thing is they're starting Kendrick Nunn, who's undrafted rookie, and Tyler Hero, who's like a second-round rookie. I just think going into the playoffs, especially in such a weird situation like this, you want more veteran players and, rookie-type guys. I like the Heat going forwards. I just don't think this is their year.
Yeah, the Heat definitely have good looks at championships in future years to come, but like you've said, they're a very young team. They don't have that veteran presence except for Jimmy Buckets trying to be the best leader he can, but at the end of the day, it's just like you look at all their pieces, they're all young. Everyone outside of Jimmy Butler that's making notable strides to get better and trying to contribute the best they can, they're all young, and it's just like it seems like the type of team that could crumble under the pressure of a championship atmosphere.
Alrighty, well, that's all we got tonight, folks. As always, thank you for watching. We appreciate your viewership. And we hope to get out more content in the coming weeks for you guys, keep you updated. It's been kind of tough, with not so much sports stuff going on during the pandemic, but, we're going to try to put out as much as we can, give you guys something to lighten the mood, take your mind off, stuff that's going on in the world right now. So Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Scott Kavertz, with co-host Fletcher Ferris. This has been The Last Word.